It's called America's Pastime for a reason. It's 9 innings of pure Americana that brings thousands of people across the country to their favorite team's diamond to watch the battle. It's been played for over 100 years and will be continued to be played for who knows how long. Now, there are a lot of people out there that think that it's one of the most boring sports to watch, but I personally think there's nothing more exciting than watching a cleanup hitter hit a 440-foot home run to win the game. There's one particular team that's done a fantastic job at providing endless entertainment and pure sportsmanship to the game, and that team is the San Francisco Giants. The San Francisco Giants are arguably one of the greatest baseball teams in the history of the sport, and they have accomplished a remarkable amount in their history. In order for everyone to really understand what this ball club is all about, I'll be going over 3 main points, starting with the origin of the team, some of the awards and accolades that they have earned, and finally I'll go over the more recent history of the ball club. Now that we have set the stage for the Giants, let's first talk about how they came to be. According to the Baseball Almanac, the team was formed in 1883. Way back then they were known as the New York Gothams, and they held that name for only 2 years when they finally switched to the New York Giants. And that's how the franchise was born. Under the management of one of the greatest managers known to the game and one of the greatest players, John McGraw, the New York Giants thrived. They earned 10 National League pennants and 3 World Series championships up until 1922. Although there are many great players on the team during this time period, I really want to highlight 2. The first being Mel Ott, who's seen in the middle of this picture. He joined the club at 19 as a center fielder, and although many thought that he wouldn't be much considering his shape, he turned out to be one of the greatest assets the Giants have ever seen. He played on the team for 20 years and finished his career with 511 home runs, which during that time was completely unheard of, and he held that record for quite a while. And the second player I really want to highlight is a player that's known to people who don't even know the sport of baseball, and that's Willie Mays, who's seen on the right. Willie Mays joined the baseball club in 1951, but it wasn't until 1954 that he had his breakout season. He played for a long time and had amazing stats throughout his entire career. And he would go down to finish his career with 3,283 hits, which is completely unheard of, 660 home runs, and his jersey number was retired by the San Francisco Giants in 1974. Now that we have a good working history of the early history of the Giants, let's talk about some of their awards and accolades. The Giants have won numerous world championships, both as the New York Giants and as the San Francisco Giants. They have appeared in the World Series 22 times, and 17 of those were as the New York Giants, and obviously the rest of them were as the San Francisco Giants. And of these 22 appearances, 11 of them ended in the World Championship. In the history of the Giants, there have been 18 strikeout champions, 17 no-hit games thrown by pitchers, 1 perfect game that was thrown by Matt Cain, who will be discussed later, and there have been 3 pitchers that have won the Cy Young Award, which is the highest award you can earn as a pitcher. And now that we have talked about both the early history and some of the awards, let's talk about the more modern history. Barry Bonds was signed to the Giants in 1992. Before then, he played on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Barry Bonds is arguably one of the greatest players to ever play the sport of baseball. When he would step up to the plate, everyone knew that something big was going to happen. I remember watching him on TV and just idolizing him because every time he would step up to the plate, it seemed like he would hit a home run. 9 times out of 10, the pitchers would walk him because they didn't even want to give him the chance. Barry Bonds has the most home runs ever recorded out of every player, sitting at 762, and he holds the record for the most in one season at 73. The problem with Barry Bonds is that his career is marred by the steroid scandal that happened in the early 2000s, which sent a lot of great baseball players to their end. And unfortunately, he'll never be recognized as a Hall of Fame player, even though most would say he deserves it. As of right now, there's a theme that's going on in the San Francisco Giants. It's called the even year blessing, as some would say, or other teams call it a curse. It all started back in 2010 when Tim Lincecum led the Giants to win the World Series. And following that, the Giants would win in 2012 and 2014. And as it stands right now, the Giants are looking like they're at least going to end up in the playoffs, if not end up 2016 world champions and keep the even year streak going. Now that you've learned more than you ever thought you would know about the Giants, I invite you to take a trip to San Francisco. Just walk by AT&T Park while the Giants are playing, and your thoughts will be drowned out by the sound of 40,000 screaming fans for world-class players of the San Francisco Giants.